Wake up, America. It's time to talk about dried fruit on this next episode of Digest This.
Welcome to Digest This, the show that helps you revolutionize your digestive health. Here are your hosts, Dr. Liz Cruz and Tina Nunziato.
Hello, and welcome to Digest This. I'm Dr. Liz Cruz, and I've got Tina Nunziato sitting right by my side. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome. If you're a first-time listener, we were so excited that you found us. If you're one of our regular listeners, thank you for being on this journey with us. And we're so excited. Please check out our library of podcasts. We've got over
550
episodes.
We're going on 600.
That's right. That's
so
right.
Excited.
It's really exciting and a lot of great info.
We're coming up on 250 YouTube episodes too.
All right. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about dried fruit. I think this is such a great topic. Is it good? Is it bad?
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. There's a lot of misconceptions about dried fruit.
There is.
Yes.
There is.
Yes.
Yeah. When we told one of our teenagers, our 17-year-old daughter, that we were podcasting about dried fruit, she's like, "What's there to podcast about? It's good for you." and so, anyways,
she eats a lot of dried fruit.
She does eat a lot of dried fruit, and we told her, well, look, it is definitely a great snack compared to all the other potential
chips and candies and donuts
that you
and
could be
cakes
eating.
And
so yes, but there's greatness to it, and there are some downsides. I don't even want to say bad, but there are some downsides to fruit, to dried fruit. So dried fruit is basically fruit where the water content has been taken out through some sort of a drying method. Mm-hmm. And so the fruit does shrivel up a little bit. Don't you love this? This is awesome. And basically what you get is like a very little dense, nutrient-packed snack. Mm-hmm. All right. And so let's talk about some of the good stuff.
Yeah. Well, the most common dried fruits, number one, raisins.
Yes.
Are the most common dried fruits that a lot of people eat. The other ones would be things like dates, prunes, apricots. They even make dried fruit with things like apples, mangoes, bananas. What else am I missing?
Pineapple. Did you get cranberries? You got cranberries in there?
Cranberries.
Yeah. So in our house, just so you know, we love dried pineapple. I would say, though, raisins for sure. I mean, we grew up eating raisins. You know, I remember my mom always sticking a little pack of the little red box. I don't even know what company it is. Sun-Maid raisins. Raisins. Also, Tina buys the contents to make a trail mix for us, which is basically consisting of nuts and seeds and cranberries.
Right.
And
I rotate the cranberries and the raisins. So like one time we'll do cranberries in it. Next time we'll do raisins, but yeah.
Yeah, and we've got, did I mention pineapple already?
Mentioned pineapple bits.
Mangoes. Yeah, mangoes, dried mango. The kids loved it.
And dates.
So I grew up on dates, and I have to say, by far, dates are just my favorite. But yeah, we have a nice variety, and as the kids have grown up, it's really been nice teaching them about the dried fruits and encouraging them to eat that as a snack instead of something else. And so in general, the dried fruit is jam-packed with nutrients, especially fiber. All right, you get a lot of good fiber in there. There's some nutrients that you can get like potassium and iron. Also, antioxidants like the polyphenols from the fruit itself, okay, which is really great. It's a very good thing. And then the last thing that I purposely left till last is the sugar content, okay? So because you're taking the water out, the sugar does concentrate. All right. And ounce per ounce, if you were to compare a piece of fresh fruit to the dried fruit, you are going to get more sugar in the dried fruit. All right. Because now you have no water content. And by the way, I thought it would be interesting to say what some of these dried fruit are. For example, what are prunes?
Prunes are dried plums.
That's right. They're
Yes.
dried plums.
Yeah, and let's talk about prunes really quick because we have
Yes.
a lot of patients that eat prunes
Yes.
on a pretty regular basis to help
Mhm.
them with their bowels.
Yeah.
So let's talk about why that is.
That's right. So prunes are really known for their laxative effect. Okay. Now keep in mind that they are still filled with nutrients. You have good nutrients, but one of the things that gives it that laxative property is the high content of fiber and an alcohol sugar called sorbitol. So the combination of that acts as a laxative. And so, yeah, through the years, I've had a lot of patients who take prunes, and I actually would rather they do prunes than a true chemical laxative.
Right, even over like a psyllium type
Yes.
fiber supplement,
Yeah.
for example.
The
Yes.
thing that they do have to be careful with, and that I've had patients through the years where I'll tell them, hey, what about prunes? If they're having some constipation issues, is the sugar. If it's somebody with diabetes, they have to be careful, and that's true for everyone. We have to, in general, it's so easy to eat a handful or 2 handful of these dried fruit. I could eat a handful of dates like that.
Right.
And but the sugar content, which is mostly fructose, so it's glucose and fructose, but a lot of fructose does pump up. It does spike. So you have to be careful with that.
Yeah, and to get back to your question of what are dried fruits.
Oh, yes.
So raisins.
Grapes.
Raisins are dried grapes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then I think everything else is pretty much
Dried
self-explanatory.
pineapple is
Pineapple.
very good.
Yes.
Dried mango.
Mango.
Very good. Okay, good.
I think
All right.
raisins and
Yeah.
prunes are the only ones.
Those are the ones
where
that it's
people
like,
might
where
be
does this come from?
exactly. What is this?
When I was in college and medical school, I remember trying to, eat somewhat healthy, and I would go and buy these big bags of apricots, dried apricots. Okay. And what I didn't realize, you know what I'm going to say, right?
Yes.
It was that those apricots. So I didn't know. I wasn't reading ingredients, but I knew that getting a dried apricot, a bag of that would be better than me getting a bag of M&Ms
Sure.
and Doritos, which is really what I wanted. But anyways, I got the apricots. So one of the preservatives that they use in dried fruit, also to give it its bright color, are sulfites. All right. And sulfites can cause some abdominal bloating and cramping. And I just remember like 2 or 3 hours later, I'd be like cramping
Doubled
up
over.
and doubled over. And I'm
Yeah.
like, but I'm being so good to myself.
Yeah. Why apricots?
Why do you do this to me?
Yeah, apricots actually tends to be one of the main ones that has a lot of the sulfites in it. It will say on the label if there are sulfites in the dried fruit.
Yes.
And so that is one of the downsides. And then added sugar on the fruit. A lot of times they'll take the fruit that's been dried and then they'll coat it with sugar or some type of sweetener as if the dried fruit isn't sweet enough, right? But these things will be on the package. Sometimes they'll coat it with stuff to make it preserve even longer, right? One of the benefits of dried fruit is that it does last longer than a piece of fresh fruit. It's nice because if you're traveling, you're on the road, you don't have access to refrigerator or something like that. You could take it with you, like all the trail mixes that have all the pieces of dried fruit in it. It's really great for grab and go, storing in your bag or your purse, right? Because it'll last longer. But you have to be really careful and read the ingredients on some of those dried fruits because it'll tell you if they've put added sugar or preservatives or the sulfites on there. And you want to try to stay away from those things, added sugars and things like the fruit itself is already sugary enough.
Yes,
right?
yes. Yeah, that's a great point, is sugar. So the point that Tina is trying to make is make sure you look at the ingredients. Very important. Look at the ingredients. Make sure that all it is the actual fruit. Okay?
Yeah. Before we give some more tips on dried fruit, I just want to do our commercial. So the commercial for this podcast is going to be on the gastro greens. I mean, we're obviously talking about fruit. We're talking about nutrient-dense foods. This is a great way to get vitamins and minerals in the diet. If you find that you're not able to eat enough greens, you're not getting enough whole food in your diet, this is meant to take the place of a standard one-a-day multivitamin or gummy. It is literally green food that's been dried and pulverized and put into a capsule. So this is your way of getting more greens, getting more nutrient-dense food in the diet. So if you're looking for something like that, you can get the whole family on it. Everybody can take it, including the kids. The capsules can be taken apart. The powder can be put in smoothies or on food. Just a really great way to get vitamins and minerals in the body. So get your gastro greens today.
All right. Thank you, Tina.
You're welcome.
All right. So I thought it would be cool to maybe talk about some of the diseases that some of these dried fruits could actually reduce the risk of. I think that's really important because we're just kind of looking at these as a little snack. But remember, these are power-packed snacks with fiber and those antioxidants, and some of them have different vitamins and nutrients. So let's just kind of run through each of these and just let you guys know what is power packed in all of these different ones. All right. So number one are the raisins. Okay. Because those are probably the most popular. So a few things that it can do or that it's thought to help with as far as reducing is lowering blood pressure, better sugar control, also helping as far as decreasing inflammation. And don't kid yourself. If you think, well, I'm healthy, I don't have inflammation. Look, everybody has inflammation, okay? Because of the diets that we eat and the stress in our life. And, we all have some level of inflammation. And so even if you feel great, that is awesome. And that's how we want you to continue feeling. So you could be doing things to try to help your body with that inflammatory state that can be caused just by stress and food that we eat and medicines that we take. Okay?
And maintaining all of it. I mean,
exactly.
If you feel like you're super healthy, you have to still maintain that.
Right. So we already mentioned how prunes have a laxative property. So it can help as far as issues with constipation, but you want to make sure that you're drinking a lot of water also. Okay. And because of the fiber content in prunes, that fiber content can also help as far as helping to prevent huge spikes in blood sugar. The other thing that prunes have is boron, which can help in reducing the onset or the risk of osteoporosis. So that's actually awesome and great news. So a lot of great properties in prunes.
Another cool thing about the dates, aside from all the things we've already mentioned, is that they are really good for oxidative stress on the body and helping to reduce that. But they're also good for women that are just getting ready to go into labor. Yeah.
Okay.
For those women that think that they might have to get induced, if you eat your dates, there's actually been studies that show that you don't have to get induced, that the dates will help with the cervical dilation.
My goodness. I wish we'd known that when we were pregnant.
I know.
Yeah. All right. Good to know. As we mentioned earlier when we started this episode, dates have that higher content of sugar because they're dried. There's no water. The water's been sucked out of them. And so you have a higher concentration of sugar. In those fruit that we talked about, that we've already mentioned, the sugar content is anywhere from 38 to 66%.
Yeah.
With dates, unfortunately, being at the highest because those are actually my favorite. But and we mentioned also that it's glucose and fructose, mainly fructose. So what do we have to be concerned about? Well, because those dried fruit have high fiber, that does help in preventing spikes in sugar. However, the reality is that it's fructose, it's sugar.
Still sugar.
You're still going to get elevations of your sugar. And so you have to be careful because of the risk of weight gain, the risk of diabetes, heart disease, fatty liver. Those are things you have to be careful as far as potential risk from overdoing it.
Right.
So it is, this is definitely a much healthier alternative to processed junk food. Okay. So definitely number one, as far as snacks, if you are wanting to have a snack with you or take a snack to work or on a trip, like Tina said, but just in moderation, you know? I mean, don't eat dates the way I do, like a whole container. No. Sometimes my wife will buy these containers and then the next day she's like,
where did all the dates
where did
go?
all the dates go?
These were supposed to last us a month.
And now I have a child who loves the dates too.
Exactly.
Our
So you can
17-year-old
blame it on
daughter. So
her.
now I can blame it on her.
That's right.
Yeah, she actually has been going through the dates like crazy this summer. So
But she's combining them. So that's the thing.
she
like,
is, yes.
So what I was going to say is like when you're eating them in a trail mix, like we were talking about, like
Mhm.
throwing raisins or cranberries in a trail mix with almonds and walnuts and pumpkin seeds, you know, you're eating them kind of like with other things. You're not just eating a whole handful of raisins or a whole handful of cranberries, right? So I think that's one great way to eat dried fruit.
Right.
The other way, she loves to put it with her avocado on toast,
Yes.
which I think is awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
she toasts a piece of Ezekiel bread, she puts avocado, sometimes she'll put an egg on
Some
it,
sea
some
salt.
sea salt, and then she adds chopped up dates on
Yeah.
top. And she'll chop up like 2 or 3 dates. So again, it's not like you're eating a whole handful of dates in that moment, but she just adds it to give that little bit of sweetness. And I think that's a really great way to
Yeah.
eat dried fruit is
Yep.
combining it with other things and not just, you know,
That's right.
handfuls of it.
That's right. I mean, we've gone to restaurants where they take the date and they put cheese and wrap a piece of bacon around it.
Oh my gosh. That's sinful.
That is sinful. But I'm telling you, there's so much you can do with a date. So anyways, you do have to be careful with the sugar content. But overall, if I was to ask Tina and Tina was to ask me, so let's take a poll. Tina,
Mhm.
good or bad? Which one outweighs the other in regards
With
to
the dried fruit?
fruit?
I think overall it is good. It is much better than a lot of other snacks
Yeah.
out there that we depend on. It just depends on how you're eating it. You just have to be really careful with how, and you have to read the ingredients. Make sure
That's
there's no added things to the dried fruit that you are eating.
I agree with her 100%.
Mhm.
All right. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. A lot of great information. If you have any questions or you just want to reach out to us, connect with us, you can find us on our website, drlizcruz.com. You can schedule a free 30-minute wellness consult. The button is on the homepage and it's free. It's our gift to you. You can do it over the phone, so you can do it from anywhere in the world. Also, please subscribe to our newsletter. It goes out twice a month and we don't want you to miss anything. So please subscribe. Also, if you haven't rated us, please rate us. Please give us a 5. It'll help other people just like you to find us. And lastly, if you have not subscribed to our podcast, please subscribe so that you never miss an episode. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will catch you on the next podcast.
Thank you for joining Dr. Liz Cruz and Tina Nunziato. To learn more about their revolutionary products and services, go online to www.drlizcruz.com.